So the Greek term baptizo was commonly used in the first century to describe dyeing a piece of cloth. Okay? Baptizo originally was kind of this meaning of like you took a piece of cloth and you dipped it in dye, and it went in one way and it came out the other. And so when baptism became a thing, it kind of had this, let me just read this quote. As believers adopt a Christ-like character, the change becomes evident to those with whom they associate. Baptism symbolizes that change in the new follower of Christ. So now there's a linguistic origination that it means to go in one way and come out the other. And then it was a secular word that at some point became a Jewish religious practice. So in the Jewish culture, you could be a non-Jewish person and then you could join Judaism. And in order to do this, you would put yourself under a Jewish teacher, you would learn the Jewish teachings, and then if you were a guy, you'd get circumcised, and then after you healed from circumcision, you would go and you would get baptized. And the understanding was that before you were baptized, you were not Jewish, and then after you were baptized, you came out Jewish in all things. This is why Jesus and John the Baptist's ministry shook society. They started baptized. John the Baptist baptized people to prepare them for Jesus. Jesus and his disciples were baptizing people. And can you imagine being a Jewish leader? Because to them, baptism means you're not Jewish and you became Jewish. Can you imagine their confusion when they see Jewish people getting baptized? Receiving what? A new identity that supersedes their Jewish identity. Receiving a new identity or committing to a new identity. So then what is baptism? I wrote it this way for you. It is the symbolic action of being immersed underwater as a profession of faith in Jesus and a committed identification with Jesus. You do not see any biblical example of sprinkling or pouring for baptism. You see it all over culture today, but you do not see it in the Scriptures. In fact, look at a few of these verses with me. Mark 1, 4, and 5. John appeared baptizing, and all the country of Judea and Jerusalem were going out to be baptized by him in the river Jordan. Where was he baptizing? In the water. He didn't take them to the river to sprinkle them or pour them. He took them to the river to dunk them. And my darling wife, she actually got baptized in the Jordan River where Jesus was baptized on our trip to Israel. And she did it. We've been there. We've seen it. It's hard to sprinkle someone there. You just got to dunk them. When you're there, you just got to do it. John 3:23. John was also baptizing at Aenon near Salim because the water was plentiful there. Why did he go where the water was plentiful? So he could do what you do with plentiful water. Boom! Right? That's what he did. Acts 8:36 and 38. Philip and the Ethiopian eunuch, you guys remember the story? He's ministering to this Ethiopian eunuch, and they're riding, kind of like carriage-style riding, they're traveling, and then the guy receives Jesus, hears the gospel, receives Jesus, and he says, oh my gosh, look, Philip, there's water. What's stopping me from getting baptized? And then what happens? He goes and he baptizes them. And so what is baptism? It is a symbolic action of being immersed underwater as a profession of faith in Jesus and a committed identification with Jesus. That's the technical thing, but let me give you a little more symbolic, a little more metaphorical understanding of what baptism is. If putting your faith in Jesus is where your relationship begins, baptism is like the marriage ceremony and the Lord's Supper is like your wedding anniversary, family. And I don't want to alienate the guys in here saying like, hey, get married to Jesus. And I don't want to like do that. But would you guys all embrace that mentality together right now? So like if my relationship with Jesus, somebody I love, begins when I put my faith in him, baptism's like the marriage ceremony, Lord's Supper is like your wedding anniversary. It's this beautiful, beautiful symbolic thing of the commitment you've done. Here, let me put it to you this way. Those of you who are married, when you got married, was the wedding ceremony where you fell in love? No. The wedding ceremony existed because you were in love. Amen, family? Man, don't you love your spouses? Amen, family? Okay, so then, after that love grew so much, you couldn't say no anymore. Then the ceremony took place. What is baptism? It is a ceremony where we say, Jesus, I'm committed to you. I'm committed to you. Jesus modeled it. He commanded it. He values it. It's rooted in our love for him.